Welcome back to 5-Minute Knives, the show where the toughest men on the planet come to vent their emotions in the comment section. Today, we're going to be talking about the current state of cold steel. And it's a little bit of a clickbaity title, I will be the first to admit. And the reason being is because I'm not going to talk about Cold Steel's sale to whatever company that is, Unpainted Arizona. Extra points to those that get the reference. It's not really about the sale of Cold Steel. It's about the current lineup. And if you're wondering how I do this, reference my current state of Kershaw video, where I go to my favorite place to buy knives, knifecenter.com. And no, I'm not affiliated with them, but as you can tell, I'm trying to be. And then I just look up the current lineup that's available. I actually do see all, so even the stuff that's out of stock I look at. And I give you my thoughts on what I think of the lineup. And if you watch the current state of Kershaw video, you'll see that it was kind of lukewarm. A lot I wasn't that pumped about. A lot was okay. Kind of like, my interest in ZT has really faded over the years as well. I used to have a lot of ZT knives. And then I started going to Kershaw because there's a lot of the same designs, but more affordable. Now even Kershaw, I'm kind of like, meh. There's like the Launch series, and then what else you got? So Cold Steel actually has a lot more stuff to talk about. So before we get started, we're going to go to our All-Star of the Week.
Wispy Woods.
I'm going to start this segment where we go to All-Star of the Week, and we're going to do Troll of the Week. And I've been screwing up lately because a lot of the troll comments I've been deleting and or blocking the folks. And I was cruising down looking for my Troll of the Week, and I kind of got rid of all the trolls this week. So I understand this channel is not my personal bonsai tree to prune. And from now on, if you guys are going to downvote or leave a nasty comment, go nuts. I can't wait to read your names and read the comments and show people what a troll you are, because that's fun for me. And also to highlight my good viewers. And by good viewers, I don't just mean people that are positive. You guys have been teaching me so much in the comment section. It's great. Keep them coming. I learned so much about, if I forget something, you guys are the first to tell me. However, you need to understand that the format of this show is like lowest kind of effort possible. And I'm going to misspeak all the time because it's a one-take Johnny. All right? So I'm going to forget stuff all the time. It's your job to fill in the blanks in the comments for everybody else. Help us out. Help the channel grow. This is our channel, not my channel. That's why I don't show my face, right? Because it's just about the gear, okay? And no, I'm not ashamed of what I look like. It's just not about that, okay? So today's All-Star of the Week, we're just going to do an All-Star, is Wispy Woods. Thank you so much, Wispy Woods. Wispy Woods has left me several comments that not only have been instructive and informative, but encouraging and positive. I really appreciate you, man. He says, I wouldn't call this a bad knife. This was about my Kislyar Supreme Sensei knife. So reference that video, one before this one. And he says he wouldn't call it a bad knife. It just doesn't seem to know what it is. Upswept Tonto to an outdoors knife. I'd much rather have a BK9 for a knife designed for the purpose with, in my opinion, better materials and features. Amen. And I lament the sale of my BK9. We'll talk about that. I want another one. Personally, I do not like hollow grinds on fixed blades at all, ever. Agreed. And I think I completely forgot to mention that in the video. And look, this guy's not being a jerk about it. He's just saying, hey, I don't like hollow grinds. I don't even know if I mentioned that it was a hollow grind. And that is a very important detail to leave out of the video. The fact that the Sensei does have a hollow grind does make it suck for the outdoors. With all that said, if your main use will be slicing through rows of 16.9 ounce water bottles for YouTube or Instagram, this may be the perfect knife. He's laughing. I said nail on the head, brother. I love this guy. He's really cool. And he says, yeah, I think it's fun to own. Fun to own is a totally valid category and a reason to own a knife. I have a few I've held over the years just for that reason, just because he likes them. Keep the vids coming. Thumbs up.
What a cool dude.
That's the kind of viewer I want. I don't mind turning off some people, because they're usually the kind of people I wouldn't want to talk with anyway. But the people that have been coming into the channel that are cool people, man, means a lot. Thank you guys. You guys are so cool. Okay. So we're going to go to Cold Steel. We go to brands. Cold Steels. I do see y'all, because we're just talking about the general, lineup. So we go high to low, as per usual. And with Cold Steel, you get some swords. which I know for most people is like, yeah, whatever. I'm into swords, so I'm cool with that. As a matter of fact, I cruise right past sabers, this kind of Viking style. It's cool. I mean, they're neat, but I just don't want something hanging on the wall that I'm not proficient with. Everything I own, I have to be proficient with. And I know you guys are about to roll your eyes so hard you may fall out of your chairs, but I have some experience with Japanese swords. I've been in martial arts since I was a tiny wee little biddle, and I've been training in the sword arts for some time as well. This is what I'm interested in. The Cold Steel Dragonfly series, long-handled Wazakashi with a 22-inch blade, carbon steel. Look at the color scheme. That's what at first caught my eye. Then the other thing, too, is I'm generally indoors when it comes to sword stuff. It's usually something hanging on a wall. If you ever had to use one of these for self-defense, you'd be hard-pressed to convince a jury that you were innocent. You know, they figure if you can use a sword, you can probably frickin' run away. They prefer to, litigate cases of licensed weaponry, a.k.a. firearms. Plus, I mean, imagine the pictures. You're going to look like a maniac. But, what do they say? I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried out by 6. If this is what you had and you're defending your family and you were good at it, well, I feel bad for the bad guy.
Because this thing's nasty.
And Cold Steel doesn't waste a lot of money on, like a acid-etched Hamon line, making it look semi-traditional. Lynn Thompson could care less. This guy he said, I want this thing to work. And it looks like a hell of a cutter. The problem that I have with Cold Steel swords, especially their katana lines and their wazakashis and Japanese stuff, is their fittings tend to be kind of wonky. The wrapping is rarely this good looking. The sukas are a little kind of blocky and straight. That's the handle. And the weight, they're a bit heavy. Good cutters, though. Great cutters. I really like the habaki on this. It's really cool how it's just like kind of swept brass. I like the finish on it is what I'm trying to say. And I think I could get good fitment with a saya. Their sayas usually suck. This lacquer's usually got all sorts of imperfections and what is it? Koyuchi? How do you say it? The throat of the saya. I forget. I'm not an expert, like I said. I like the Makuji pegs here, the Manukis, your little dragonfly. They're on the right side because I'm right-handed. You don't want this digging into your palm. Looks nice. I really like the black Samigawa, kind of forest green wrapping. Gorgeous. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on swords. I know a lot of you guys aren't interested in this. I'm interested in this because it's a long-handled Wazakashi. However, as we come down here and we see that it's 1060 carbon steel, okay? And then I look at this frickin' price. I'm instantly turned off. I pay $350 for this, okay? And I know it's hard for them to put it together, but that's why you don't go into this. You don't manufacture these kinds of things if you got to have such a high price point that it makes it so you don't even buy. Cold Steel's got a few things like that. There's things that I would certainly buy. It's just they're out of the price range. Like, this is cool, but it's out of the price range. And then when we get down to the black version of this, it's kind of boring looking to me because I like the green. And it's much cheaper, by the way. So why is green so much more expensive? You got me. The Ito, the silk Ito, or the cotton Ito on this case, is the same price if it's colored or black. I know where they get the stuff. This stuff's kind of cool. That's neat. Not for me. A little crouching tiger action. Oh, yeah. Tai Chi stuff. Swords, I'm done. Okay, so here we go. We got the long handle Wazakashi. We save $100 if we don't go black, because it doesn't, or if we get the black wrapping, because it's got that traditional white Samigawa. What did it cost you? Another $5 in black lacquer? And you just went with the green wrap instead of the black? Why is it $100 more? I don't understand, and that's why I find this suspect. I don't buy this stuff. Plus, there's too many other things to buy. My firearms cost too much money. Firearms accessories alone are bleeding me dry. Dragonfly katana, a little big for indoors. Yeah. Okay, so now we get into the part where you guys are probably tuning in for. Okay, we get into the knives. Here's our Magnum Tonto. This thing's 12 inches. I'd be interested in this knife if it wasn't I know this is going to sound weird, if it wasn't a full guard like this. I like just like the guard coming down here. I like my mitts being able to kind of crowd out the space here. And this piece of the guard actually digs into me hand, the top of my hand. And this is also that kind of craton-y, rubberized stuff. This kind of like skull smasher thing. It's cool. I mean, really, this thing's it's still a big blade. It's cool. 12-inch blade. Pretty nasty. And we're CPM 3V steel. But why is it $359? CPM 3V, I get it. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just like the longer blade, it's a pain, but you still get the same crappy sheath, the Secure X sheath that's fiberglass, reinforced nylon. Actually dulls the blade. This crappy canvas thing. I always make my own sheaths for cold steel stuff. Too expensive. Again, if this was 200 beans, I'd probably already have one, right? This is kind of neat. Not my style, but looks pretty hardcore. And then we get into the Espada XL. I've always been interested in this knife. Really cool. I'm not really like one for the clip point design, that kind of buoy design. It's got a bit of a Emerson wave on it. $350 though. Hard pass. The Black Bear Classic. I don't know. I don't wear a raccoon cap, so it's not for me. Tonto. Yeah. So this is how I feel, okay? So this is... Hey, listen, don't take offense, guys. If you like some of this stuff and I'm going, yeah. I'm not picking on you. We all have different tastes. That's actually what Cold Steel is really good for. Cold Steel is really good for their budget sections. You can cheaply get into a design you've always been curious about and go, okay, yeah, this is goofy. I feel like a mall ninja. I'll give it to a friend. That's what I do with a lot of my Cold Steel stuff that doesn't work out. I just give it to a buddy. I go, you'll probably like this. And they love the gift because they don't have to waste their money trying something out like you did, right? And I don't mind being the explorer for gear. So we're into the $300 range now. Look at this sword. That's pretty cool. I'd probably rather go with something like this than that $500 Katana Tonto or Wazakashi just because it was green. I don't know the quality on this stuff. I don't know anything about Western cuneiform style swords, but it does look pretty badass to me. And for 300 beans, what kind of scabbard? They call these scabbards. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, this would be cool for like your Renfest time. Right? Go through Renfest, call everybody sire and sir and whatever. Okay, so we have this 3V blade and a 9-inch blade now. Now we're talking. I'm a little bit more into it. $311, still a little pricey for me. I've always been interested in this Taipan double-edged dagger. I've always kind of wanted this, although I don't have a practical application at all for it. Again, refer to Wispy Woods' comment. You could just like something. This looks to be a double hollow grind. But I just really like this kind of. Man, this is like V for Vendetta stuff. Like he should have had a bunch of these. Probably, wouldn't have died at the end. Spoiler alert. All right. Magnum Tonto, 12-inch. Okay, so now we're getting into VG10. This is a crappy steel. So explain to me, sirs, in the comments, as you are wont to do, why this is $303. With a VG10 steel, I don't care that it's a 12-inch blade. You're saving a ton of money on the handle. It's that like rubberized handle that you put on everything. You get that same probably Secure X sheath. I'm not going to even click on it, I'm sure. And VG10 steel. This should be $120. Don't believe me? See, Kislyar Supreme Sensei was $140 for something just like this. Only it's a 9-inch blade. And a better sheath, I might add. So this is why Kislyar Supreme is in the conversation now. Although their stuff's goofy too. Got that rubberized handle that's not going to age well. Especially if you try to make a sheath out of it for it. Chinese war sword. This is goofy. Okay, I admit this is goofy. This is my mall ninja side talking. But man, for zombie times, I don't think you could go wrong with this thing. This reminds me of a zombietools.net implement. Real crappy handle though. I don't like that. Real crappy. Like even in the picture that the display picture, it's got like quality control issues. But look at it. Look what you can do. There goes all the heads, right? Blah. But for $300, there's some zombietools.net stuff for like $350 that I'd much rather take over that that uses 5160 spring steel. I feel like a dork. I know so much about this crap. I'm going to move on. I'm embarrassed. Okay. Keep it going. 7.5-inch 3V. Now we're down to 287. I would almost be down with this if it wasn't that cross guard. If it was just like the index finger guard, whatever you call that. Again, educate me in the comments, as you are wont to do. This looks pretty neat. Although a little thin of a blade, and with being straight, it's not really that great of a cutter. It's more for denting armor, looks like, than stabbing. Not my thing. Butterfly swords, if this was a Jackie Chan film, I'd be all over it. But cold steel again. Okay, now we're talking. I've had my eye on this Samagram for as long as I can remember, almost as long as a CRKT Hishao. That is now discontinued and I can't find anywhere. This is CPM 3V steel, And now we're talking. We have that guard I like, and this is a very usable blade. I want to say 6 inches. I'll look it up. This is sharp looking if you ask me. And now, like, the design makes shape. Who's it? Bastinelli. What's that company that makes, like, the really expensive kind of Tontos like this, only they're better looking with a better sheath for about the same money? We can look those guys up if you want. But again, I'm a sheath maker. This guy, Troll of the Week. I got rid of him. I should have said this guy. He's like,
do you ever get sick of talking about how great your sheaths are?
Well, I don't get sick out of promoting a new side business, sir. I do enjoy added income from my family. And yes, I am proud of my sheaths. They're really good. If you guys want a sheath, email me at dragonscalejoe@gmail.com and just hit me up with a quote. Tell me what knife you want a sheath for. You may have to ship me the knife, of course, but you're in good hands. I'm getting pretty slick. And I want to specialize in sheaths. I make holsters too, but I'm not really. I make IWB holsters for like select models. The problem with that is I have to buy all these blue guns. With the sheaths, you guys just have to trust me and send me your knife. And it builds a bond between us. So now, with a friendship with me, what that does is it opens up this door where you see the knife, and you know how a lot of times the sheath is a deal breaker for you? You got your homeboy. You got your homeboy from 5 Minute Knives ready to crank out a sheath for you if you don't mind spending the money. So maybe own the knife for a while and fall in love with it. And as you grow to love a knife, aka the BK9, I miss my BK9. I am going to purchase another one and trick it out with handle scales from theknifeconnection.com. For sure. And then I'm going to build a badass Kydex drop-down dangler sheath, leather hybrid sheath for it. And I'm so excited to start that project again. I'm going to grind out a finger choil. I'm going to take off the crappy black finish. I'm going to make a gorgeous BK9 that you're all going to be jealous of. Because I got rid of mine in the beginning of the pandemic, and I really regret it. This Amagrom, it's still a little expensive for what you get. It's that same kind of crappy handle, although I like this handle on this one. Don't tell anyone. This finish is going to come off. I can already kind of feel it in my bones. This is like a plasticky thing. And then this finish isn't going to hold up either. But it is a perfect shape and size for me. This does speak to me. I connect with stuff like that. And it's a 6-inch blade. It's kind of perfect for scrap-a-doing. This would be great on my tack vest. Scout carry right in the front, blap, right below me firearm. Be really, really good. Okay, so now we're getting into why you tuned in a little bit more. I know, I humor myself. I want to make some of these longer videos because the current state of Kershaw did really well and it helped the channel. I got a ton of subscribers out of it. So that's why I'm kind of dragging this on. Oh, okay, so this speaks to me. So already, unlike the Kershaw video, we've already clicked on a bunch of different stuff, and Cold Steel gives you a wide variety. That's why the sale of Cold Steel is really a big deal, because a lot of us really like some of their stuff. I'm a fan. I mean, look at this knife. I saw a really favorable review of this knife recently, and I was kind of like, wow, neat. Usually one of my deal breakers is their clips suck, or they're ugly. And that's not really the ugliest clip, in my opinion. I'm kind of cool with that. I like a little bit of the handle sticking out of my pocket, by the way. It's not that I want to, like, advertise that I'm carrying a knife, but two things. Deep carry, I don't know. I'm not ashamed of carrying a knife either. I don't care if people see them. If anything, I'm like, good, yeah, I got a knife. You know, I either am a handy individual or I'm not somebody to rob in the parking lot, right? I don't mind looking like a tactard when I'm out and about. I work out, I lift weights. I like to look strong. I like to look capable, you know? And a knife like this, like even that, it's pretty attractive, actually, I think. A little overbuilt, but I mean, it's nice. I'm really interested in that locking bar. I'm not going to watch the video. 215, what kind of steel we talking? Weight, 6.5 ounces. Ouch, kind of lost me there. Especially, okay, so S35 VN, a decent steel. See, Spyderco. We're going to do a current state of Spyderco at some point, and I know that'll be a big video for me. But this one, with the S35 VN, that's actually dropped in. I don't know the prices of the steel. Actually, I shouldn't be quick to judge there. I'm going to be less of a jerk on the channel because I don't want all the hate. But a little pricey for me. I think I would pay $150 for that quickly. But at 6.5 ounces, it's just a little heavy. I'm also carrying all the firearm crap, extra mag, you know. This Warcraft Tonto never appealed to me. I like handles where I can put my hands in different positions depending where I'm at. If I'm in a hallway, I'm choked up. If I'm outside, I choke down. That's why I like that BK5, that Becker BK5, because it's got that bird's beak handle. I can really choke down on it and give myself an extra 3 inches of reach. Very handy when you need it, I'm sure. This Man-at-Arms Messer sword, I bet you that's a beast. And at $178, now we're talking about what I'm saying. It's affordable enough where if that really spoke to you, you wouldn't be upset if it was just on your wall and girls were like, what's that? You know, like it would be a conversation piece. And especially if you were fairly proficient and you knew you could cut some stuff with it. That's pretty cool. It's not my style, but it's pretty cool. This highlight folding knife, 6-inch. Yeah, it's neat. Not my style. Let's click on it though. Let's look at it. See, Cold Steel's got a lot of depth in their designs. This guy was interested in a lot of things. This swedge, this looks like a very fast blade in the hand. Your point of balance is probably somewhere even in here. Okay, kind of weird looking. Thumb operated. I think we missed an opportunity here for a flipper, but I don't think he wanted to add wings. I get the design. I bet you this has centering problems. Shout out in the comments if you have one. Clip looks a little stumpy for what it is, but I like how it's inset into the handle. Keeps it from wobbling. 3 screws. Decent. I'm going to guess the weight on this is at least 5 ounces, but it says light. If we can get underneath 5 ounces, it's a little expensive. 7.1 ounces, not that light. But for a 6-inch blade, what do you expect? About $184. What kind of steel are you talking? CPM S35VN. Okay, so we got a deal on that steel. I don't know, I think a little pricey for me. Not my style. Espada and G10. Now we're talking. For $167, a 7.5-inch blade. I think that's totally worth it. And this is what I'm talking about. This is one of those kind of handles you could really have like a few different grips in. You know, indoors choke up, and you got this like big Bowie knife. That's a longer blade than the SE6. To put it in comparison, I mean, this thing's a monster. And then you choke down here, and you almost have that like kind of like Navajo-inspired hatchety thing. Brutal. Look how much will be sticking out of your pocket here. This is for the guy who wants to show off, I think. You know, the guy's got like his truck lifted. You have one of these. I don't know. I'm not going to pick on you if you own one. The price is right on the G10 model. I wouldn't get the fancy one. But if you got the fancy one, I mean, what you're saying is I got it like that. I have a bunch of money. So yeah, if you have the money and you don't feel the pinch and you can get the fancy deal one, it's a showpiece, you know. I think it's cool. I think it would be badass. If somebody showed me like I'm carrying an Espada XL, I'd be like, cool. You're ridiculous. But okay, cool. It's got some interesting kind of file work here, whatever you call that. I don't like the shiniest here. That's going to age poorly. This kind of like swept. Because it's a different steel than the blade, of course, for the guard and the pommel here or whatever. Crappy sheath is huge. You know what I do like about these sheaths, though? This little area here for the thumb actually works out pretty well. But this blade, or this glass reinforced nylon is going to dull the blade. I know that from experience. I actually can speak on that for sure. I'm a sheath maker. Ha, ha, ha. You ever get sick of mentioning that? No, I don't. I do a lot of other things, too. Actually, I've never mentioned you guys what I do for a living. And that's very interesting. And I won't. Keep you in suspense. How's that? A couple of 3 stars here. 1 5-star. Wasn't finished. Wasn't sharp. Not my first outdoors. Looks like this guy left a couple. Okay, he likes it. I think it's a nice knife. A 6-inch blade, kind of nice size. There's better options. $175. Dude, you can get yourself an SE6 for $120 out the door with a sheath and the new contoured 3D handle scales. Like, nobody's buying this. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Master Hunter might be nice. Again, this price is we're not in the cold steel stuff that's worth it for me. Spear, pretty wild. Saber, no thanks. Okay, page 4. Now we're getting into more of the stuff. The SR1 looks to be an interesting knife. It's a 4-inch blade. Again, that S35VN looks very well built. If it fits your hands properly, this handle shape must be nice. If it doesn't, it must be the opposite of nice. Right? The color's decent. This thing's crazy. Koleshamerde dagger. How do you say that? I'd buy that for my girl. I think she'd like that. She can take me out when she's ready. What about this? Hand and a half dagger. That's kind of neat. Another V for Vendetta kind of deal. I have one of these in the SRK cheapy, whatever that steel is. And we'll get to it. I don't know if I like it enough to upgrade to VG10. And why is VG10 an upgrade? Who knows?
Yeah.
It's okay. If you're going to get this, get the cheap version. It's $50. You get like same performance as VG10. We got more of the clip point of the SR1. Okay, yeah. What's your flavor? Kitchen knives, don't care about. I mean, what isn't cold steel into? Look at this thing. That is so crazy. And at $150, if this really spoke to you, you could pick it up and go around reenacting The Hobbit with a clear conscience that you didn't overspend. I mean, look at the kind of work they do in these like fullers. There's like 3 fullers in this thing. That's a wild shape. Probably at the base, this thing's pretty strong. I don't know. Not my thing. My girl's got the cheap version of this in one of her bug out bags. Yeah. Again, I don't know if it's worth upgrading. They say they give them to the Seal Pups teams or whatever as kind of like a graduation present. I think that's, people mistake that and say, oh, that means this knife is great. It might just mean that the troopers are great and they could survive with almost anything. Because we have one. It's okay. Again, for that kind of price, you can save $20 and get an SE6. Can you tell I'm a fan of SE? With a lifetime warranty, I might add, and a way cooler handles and a really decent sheath. Like, this is not even in the conversation next to an SE6, even with a saber grind. I don't care. I think this is even a hollow grind. I'm not going to click on it. These interested me. The Frenzy 2, this is 5.5 inch blade. These are nasty. Nasty things for nasty people. I have no use for it. But if that was $120, I would have pulled the trigger on it a long time ago. I already would have bought one. This SRK with the kind of 3V stonewash, now we're talking. At $142, I think that's in the ballpark. I think that's a good buy. Again, especially if you got a homeboy making cheese for you. Right? I think that could work. Because now, sheath made, custom sheath made, shipping, everything else, you're still under a couple $100, and you have a really legit steel. The CPM 3V may be an overinflated, like kind of overhyped steel. Do you guys remember when D2 was the big thing? Now it's kind of like an insult to some people. These steels come and go. That's why I don't hop on the steel train. I'm more concerned about geometry than steel performance, but there are certain steels I do turn my nose up at. This AK-47 fixed blade, kind of interesting, a little pricey. But again, CPM 3V, that's cool. And unlike my Kershaw video, this is probably going to be a lot longer because look how many things I have to comment on and stop. So this is the largest Espada, 5.5 at $137. Total buy with the Emerson, well, not an Emerson, but with a wave opener, sure. Bush Ranger, 3.5 inch. It's a good usable size. I don't know. Doesn't turn me on. 6-inch folding light. Why is this one so much cheaper? Is this a different steel? I don't know. But that's actually in the ballpark. 125, affordable, good. Tiger Claw Karambit, 3-inch. Okay, here's my deal on Karambits. I know a lot about them now. I've owned a lot of Karambits. I kind of like just bought right into it. I bought a lot of cold steel stuff. I bought Fox Karambits. I bought fixed blade Karambits. It's all over the place with my Karambits.
Hey.
Seems to be unpopular how I hold a Karambit in a foregrip position. I've explained this a trillion times why. It makes total frickin' sense. Same muscle memory as using a firearm. Same muscle memory as throwing a punch. If you fall wrong and the thing lands wrong, you break a pinky instead of an index finger, I'll take that trade. You get 3 to 6 inches extra reach holding it in that way, I'll take the reach. You ever find yourself in a Knurful fight, you'll wish you had that reach back. You're not going to care if you look like a freaking Navy SEAL from a Steven Seagal film. Okay. And also easy to slip out of. If you got to abandon that grip, you can get a pinky out a lot easier than you can get an index finger. Your chubby index finger wedged into that 1-inch hole, and you got to abandon or, a cop says, drop the knife, and you can't. Good luck to ye, sir. So there's a lot of things about Karambits I have strong opinions on that aren't popular. However, I will say that one of the things I've noticed about Karambits is, and I know as I just mentioned reach, but when it comes to blade length, you don't really need 3 inches of blade length. It's more the handle I'm concerned about, the grip. I like an extra grip. So this one has a bit of both. You're in a legal realm of 3 inches. S35VN is better steel than most. It's decent. I don't know why these particular Karambits, Tiger Claw Karambits, didn't appeal to me. I have their fixed blade version, I think because I just really like Spyderco's more, and I really liked the Fox the best. Other than the new Evo, I didn't care for that because of the dumb locking system. I don't think this is a bad buy. At $120, S35VN, remember the geometry is going to supersede the blade, the steel. Because you're not going to be using this all the time. Unless you're cutting carpets, which is like a good use for it, I guess. But you're going to dull it and screw up that tip. This thing, look at this. Frontier Bowie, 12.25 inch blade. This thing's a beast with a choil. Probably 4 pounds on your hip. $120, why not? If you have the money. I even like some of their like sword canes. I don't know. I forgot my Sherlock Holmes overcoat for that. Yeah, sword cane, not for me. What is this? A halberd. It's badass. For $120, I mean, if you had it like that, you had an extra 120 and you just wanted to get medieval. Renfest coming up, you want to look cool, why not? These Viking axes, 52, that's probably like a brutal thing. You know, I do, when I look at Cold Steel, I often think about all like the kind of like little redneck kids that got their older brother to buy them something they thought was cool and what they're doing with all this stuff. Like how many people have been injured by misuse of Cold Steel badass looking stuff, you know? I had a brother that owned AK-47 folding knife, and he really liked it. Decent steel, 3.5-inch blade. The handle was surprisingly comfortable when I tried it, but it fit my hand nicely. So again, this is one of those ones, if it doesn't fit your hand, And they really got married to this design because they wanted to stick with the AK-47, angles. Yeah, okay, it's a design thing. This isn't even double-edged, it's just a swedge here. It doesn't really appeal to me, it looks kind of ugly. Look at this thing. Gothic mace. $110. Good God. Again, how do you explain that to a jury? Like, I get how these things are effective. I just don't get how you legally use them. Like, how do you ever... Well,
somebody was jimmying with my locks, so I went and fetched my man-at-arms Gothic mace, and, Your Honor, I caved his head in, yeah.
You're gonna go away, pal. So yeah, I can't own things that just sit on a wall. As cool as I think that is, it just reminds me of something out of Lord of the Rings. This Black Talon 2 interested me. It reminds me of the Matriarch 2. Refer to my video from Spyderco. 4-inch blade. $110 though. I mean, why not? You got a wave on there. Look at this. Okay, this is how weird I am. I have seriously considered buying this. Don't ask me why. I guess the theme of this video is if you enjoy it and it has no other function, then you can still own it. Wispy Woods, right? I don't know why I like this. It just seems just really weird and brutal and a huge blade too, 5.5-inch blade. This Voyager series and it's so affordable. $110, that's not bad. We got the non-serrated Talon 2, 109. These Rajas didn't ever do anything for me. I understand the Kukri whatever, but it's OS 10A Stonewash. Somebody tell me about OS 10A. I don't know about OS 10A. Is that good? This thing, I know some people that might like it. It's kind of like a lifted truck vibe for me. Recon 1s. These look like good usable blades. Decent steel, affordable. I saw a video on this Wasp. It's ugly as sin, but it looks like it's pretty capable. It's a little stabber. Kind of brutal weapon. Very cold, steely. Master Hunter 4-inch. Now, at San Mai 3, I'm not interested, but at $100, that's not too bad. Recon 1 Tonto, these look nice. Combo blade. Yeah. So already we're seeing the difference between Cold Steel and Kershaw, and I think this is why it's such a big deal that Cold Steel was sold. Was it GSM Outdoors? Who bought them? I said Unpainted Arizona earlier. A lot of the concern is they're sold to this big company that's going to take these designs and make them cheaper materials. I don't know how you make a lot of this stuff out of cheaper materials. That was already Cold Steel thing. Chaos Bowie. SK5 was the steel type I was looking for. That's what I have my SRK knife in and the Tonto. And they're like $50. We'll get to that. But yeah, this, I don't have a lot of interest in keeping... I can see where the mall ninjas like it or the rednecks like it. Like you just kind of put your hand in here and you can punch with it. You could get the skull breaker. You get a thing with it. Again, explain it to a jury why you own that. You know, we also have to fit into society. It's cool to own gear, but it's also cooler to own gear that's kind of respected across the board. You know. This is, if you guys are going to use any of this stuff, I mean, you also have to answer for it. So be careful. Be careful what you collect and own, because it may be the only thing you have in a pinch, and you're going to be like, damn, I should have gotten that whatever is more socially acceptable thing that does the same function, right? Performs the same function. Okay, Tonto 4. This actually looks sharp. And these are thin, I believe. And at $89, now we're talking. We got a 3.5-inch blade. I prefer the Tonto, but we also have the drop point here. These look like very nice 5.8 PT Code 4s. Code 4s look really nice. Spear point, and you have your Tonto. I like these. And I like the price. I don't like them enough to buy them. But if we did some sort of gear check and I see you guys out and whatever, and you showed me one of these, I'd be like, that's respectable. That's a nice knife. Cool. Scottish dirk. I mean, if I were Scottish, maybe I'd be interested. I'm not. I don't wear stuff like that. Cold steel shades. But what don't you make? You must have gotten a fortune for selling this. Man-at-Arms wing spear. $89 for 89 inches of death. Go hunt your lions. Pretty badass, actually. Not my thing. These light models, not at the price. I look at these and I think $50. This is Aus 10A. Again, that mystery steel for me. I don't know anything about it. Look at this Polish mace. Good God. Ugh. You're in trouble if your old lady buys one of these. Just move out. I would hate to get hit with that. And again, explain that.
Well, Your Honor, I'm a medieval knight.
And he broke in. Okay, good. Spartan folding knife. I know a lot of people got these in the beginning. Aus 10A, $77. This thing's heavy as hell. I don't like the recurve blade on a folding knife. I don't like this cold forge, simplistic design. I'm not into Bowie knives. I know that's very anti-American of me. It's not my thing. It's just a lot of crap to lug around for just showing it off to your cousin, This I considered for a bug out bag, and then I considered the serrated. Because it's $71, and I believe this is Aus 8. I'm going to click on it. Aus 10A, mystery steel again. But because of the geometry, and I'm going to sound like a hypocrite, and it's serrated, kind of steel type doesn't matter. And I know how to sharpen serrations. So, when you put a blade in a bug out bag, you also have to put a sharpener in there, because what if that bag and that blade is the last blade you ever get? So a lot of people make the mistake of putting kind of like a Snickel Fritz knife. It's a cheaper knife. I'll just put it in a bag for a bug out. Okay, and you bug out and grab that bag, and that's all you got. Well, now you got that cheap knife forever, and you're like, I wish I had a better one. So you also have to include a sharpener. With something like this, I wouldn't even bother to include a sharpener. By the time you wear this out, you have bigger problems, right? So, and plus you have 2 edges. You have the Tonto point here, and then you have the serrations here. And serrations last a long time. They're usable for much longer than a straight blade. I prefer a straight edge. However, serrations do have their uses. So I thought this was a really good bug out bag option. It's big enough to scrap with. Without rule of law, things are gone bad. Or survival. You're out in the woods and you're cutting rope, you're cutting your paracord, and then you have your fine stuff over here. Just keep this part sharp best you can. Try not to use that much. Just use this. And if you got all this dull and you still got this, you still have something to use. So I thought that was kind of neat. Plus, with the way this handle comes around and you can choke down on it, you get some mega leverage towards the tip of that. So, never bought it. But at this price, I have to do some more research on Aus 10A, because what is that? Somebody educate me, please. Little Raja, why would you bother? I mean, I guess it's kind of neat. Okay, now we're getting into the real cold steely stuff, the $50 and under. This is what many of us have dabbled in that are curious. I could see, somebody's cousin owning that, right? Showing it off to me. That's cool. Okay, this always cracks me up. I love what he's wearing right here. Look at that, Lynn Thompson. He's got his saber fighting sneakers on with his saber fighting shorts, and he'll chop you up. And if you buy this 2-disc DVD set for $60 and you get a leather coat, you could learn how to scrap with sabers too. And you're going to win the majority of your saber duels after that. You may win. What do you need? The Fighting Machete instructional video. Let me tell you about the Fighting Machete instructional video. Step 1, get a machete. Step 2, attack someone. That's my instructional video. There's all sorts of primitive peoples use machetes every day in these mass conflicts. This stuff really cracks me up. I love it. It reminds me of the 80s. That's when Cold Steel started. Everything was cheesy. Everything was Steven Seagal, right? This spear, off note, actually looks pretty good. Poorly rated here, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about spears. Looks okay. Cold Steel, the Fighting Tomahawk. That's the other thing about Cold Steel, too. It's always been kind of like a cheesy brand, and we love it, though, because we all have that mall ninja in us. And Lynn Thompson just did it with a straight face for 40 years, right? He just kept a straight face. So, anyway, let's keep going. I like the guy. I'm not picking on him. But it's corny stuff. Tilate folding. Here's our more usable Voyager with the same philosophy of use for $56. This, I think, would be a great bug out option. I just bought one of these Kubans with a straight blade for review, and I got to make a sheath for somebody else. And plus, it kind of connected with me, the straight edge version. $56. This has kind of a similar philosophy of use. If you're not going to pack a sharpener, this is very light and thin. May work for you. And I don't mind the cross hilt on this one. Because it's a shorter overall length and I have more of a straight handle, I can kind of choke down and this won't dig into my hand. I don't know. I didn't mind it. I'll let you know what I think when I get it. How's that? But I did buy it. This is interesting. This Drop Forge push dagger. This looks actually pretty awful. Again, 4 inches. I would get it in a more legal length because this isn't something people are going to accept if you had to use. Training shield. I don't know. A throwing axe. That's kind of neat, I guess. These guys are crazy. Look at this crazy stuff. This is so ugly to me. It's just so much crap going on. And just aesthetically, it just turns me off. It may be a good knife. I don't know. This is a chisel grind. It's flat on the other side. The counterattack. Otherwise, I probably would have picked it up. I'm always interested in something double-edged. And I think it's flat on the back because it's a boot knife. And that actually makes it, I don't know, something easier to draw. But also cheaper to make. So you can get this thing at $47.95. I don't know what kind of steel it is. Doesn't really matter. I like how it's wasted towards the guard. This design, I always kind of pause at. And I'm like, do I want to buy that? 5 inches is a nice length. What? A Warhammer? Okay. Look at this. Sponton Drop Forge Tomahawk. Like, what are you going to do with this business? This is why cold steel is like so weird and funny, and we all secretly dabble in it, right? This is why this video is so much longer. SRK Compact, 5-inch. Now, I actually think this is a steel. With that, the steel, I've used it. It's kind of like a mushy 1095 is what it's kind of acting like. Sharpens up pretty easily. With this being a little bit shorter, I think this is a nice... You would include like a little hand sharpener with this. You're going to need to sharpen it every time you look at it. Even in and out of the sheath. The sheath's going to dull the hell out of this. But it's not a bad design. I don't hate it. Again, I'm not picking on cold steel. I'm like one of the mall ninjas that buys some of this stuff. This like little short shaft spear. Probably a brutal weapon. Look at this Warhawk. Ooh, what use? This is one use weapon. Okay, I'm going to make a couple of things here. I owned this Steel Tiger Karambit. This is going to be on Blades of the Past. I've owned it twice. And actually, they changed the formula. They made it thinner. The second time I bought it, it was thinner. It was years later. Aus 8 blade. This thing's got an almost 5-inch Karambit with a needle point. And let me tell you, it's dangerous to the user, even drawing it, all that other stuff. If you're not paying attention to what you're doing, especially resheathing this thing, people like to spin it in the hole. Don't spin it in the hole. And this is where I started rocking Karambits in the foregrip position, because in the reverse grip, I did not feel really comfortable without like snagging a piece of clothing on the way up. Like you're trying to throw like an uppercut with it, let's say. Not that you would use this for anything. I just had it. And it kept going from this bag to that bag until finally it was just like in a drawer. And it was sitting around, and I got broke at the beginning of the pandemic, and I sold like a ton of knives. Long before the channel, by the way. Should have done reviews on every one of them. And I didn't get much for this. I mean, brand new, it's $41. It was just like, get it out the door. I just don't even want it. And I didn't want to give it to a friend, because some knives you don't want to give to non-knife people because they will hurt themselves. Like how many, again, like little kids got their cousin to buy this for them, and they own it now. You got kids with this Karambit somewhere, I bet. Freaks me out. I've almost hurt myself with this thing. And I've had one of these safe makers, the shorter one. They're good. Crappy sheath. This Luzon interested me. For $41, you really can't go wrong. I guess it's fairly well made, and it's a pretty usable design if you get in a pinch. I just don't know about the hardware, but knowing cold steel, it's probably overbuilt. We own both of these. It's SK5 is the steel. My girl owns this one. I made her a little purple sheath for it. I own this one. This one is also doing the bag hop thing. It's gotten down to like the Snickelfritz bags that I probably won't grab. This one's probably going to be a gift for a friend too at some point. I may keep it just to make sheaths for people that want it, because if you own this one, somebody may have the more expensive versions and want a sheath made, and I may keep it just for their mold so they don't have to mail me their knife. So if you guys own like the Sanmai version or the CPM 3V version of this or this, let me know. I will say this, because of this rubberized grip, it does not like being molded. So I'll just mess up my own knife to make you a nice sheath. How's that? So maybe I'll keep them just for that, just for sheath making. Because people really like these knives, and this is the one that the SEALs get, right? Upon graduation from, what is it, the PUP program? What do they call that? Everybody goes, oh, the SRK is giving to SEALs, and blah, blah, blah. You know, our military doesn't always get the best stuff, guys. I'm not bringing it down like we own it, but I guess at $41, what do you want? It's a great deal for that. So, again, I hope nobody's taking offense to any of this. I'm not soft-soaping you guys because I'm afraid of the bad comments. I actually want more bad comments now for Troll of the Week. I have mixed feelings on Cold Steel, as many of us do. This tactical katana I wouldn't be caught dead with. But at $41, you know how many people bought that? Look at these trench hawks for $40. I mean, why not? If you're into that sort of thing, put this on a pack, I guess. I wouldn't use it for anything. It's just silly. I did just buy this. $38. I couldn't go wrong. Look at it. And I'm going to make a sheath for it immediately. And I think this is a harder plastic, so it'll mold better. But look, like fitment. So it looks like to be a rat tail tang. See? To save on weight, see the gap in there? Usually indication of rat tail tang. But for what it is, I don't know. I'll let you know if I don't like it. I'll say. But look, it kind of speaks to me. It's a good looking knife. And I saw a review on it, and the guy's like, isn't this gorgeous? And he like, sometimes reviews talk you into it. So that's why I get some hate sometimes, because somebody just convinced their old lady to buy something, old Boulder Mini, and I say it's crap, or I didn't like it. I don't even say it's crap. I just say I don't like it, and it's a pass for me. And people were leaving on my Boulder Mini review. Like, I get people like, I'm not going to even say the comments. Like, stuff I couldn't even let post. It's so foul. I had to laugh, but it's like, what are these people's lives like? On Christmas Day, I got hate on that video. I was laughing. I just blocked the people and didn't. Unbreakable baseball bat. Okay. Like, how do you justify that? It's not even a real ball bat. Okay, these gloves look very gimmicky for me. I'm actually a bit of a glove guru now. I have many pairs of gloves, been trying them out. Can't wait until people start sending me stuff when the channel gets big enough. That's what I'm going for here, guys. It's not that I want to be sponsored so bad. You know, I really kiss Knife Center's butt, as you can see. But it's because I don't like their competitors. So I actually have a vested interest in growing up Knife Center because I have a little bit of a vendetta for a competitor of theirs that mistreated me several times over the course of many years and a lot of purchases. So I'm like, you know what? Your customer service sucks so bad. And when I started purchasing from Knife Center, their customer service was so good. So I appreciate that. So I'm carrying a torch for this company. I like them. And yes, do I want them to send me some free exclusives at some point to save me money so I can review more things for you guys for free? Of course I do. I want all companies to send me stuff. You know, I don't even like these gloves. Send them to me for review. Fine. And I know if you look at the sub count, you're like, nah, it's not very big yet. You guys should see the watch hours and the impressions. This channel's doing very well, I might add. For a little side hustle, we're crushing. I have friends with channels probably better than this one, and they don't have the numbers we do. So we're very lucky. I think it's because of my snark. I think it's because I call out BS, and we have a wide variety on here. I do have the shorter version of this Blackthorne walking stick, and I know you're thinking, well, why did you get that? I do a lot of hiking, and I have a lot of weight in my pack. And a stick really does help, and I make one every time I go out, so I figured, let me just buy one of these. And it worked out. And, I gave it to the little one. So now he's got a little walking stick. It's pretty cool. He's 8. He loves it. Here's a counterattack 2. A little guy. Pretty nice. I actually would probably go more for the little guy than the big guy because of that chisel grind. And $32, you can't go wrong. Spetsnaz trench shovel. I don't know. Maybe that's good for your truck. I don't know. Blowgun. Who's getting the blowgun? Okay, now this tactical Wazakashi. If it had a longer handle, I might. And I've seen videos with the longer handle where they just chop this down. I don't know. It's so Mall Ninja, though. I just feel weird. This Pipe Hawk is actually pretty neat because you get like a little bit of a hammer point. The problem is this handle swells. I've seen in reviews, and this thing drops down. It's kind of what's always turned me off to this design. Competition throwing hatchet. Ooh, somebody didn't like it. I own this. It's okay. I'm going to give it to somebody. These little Tough Lights look neat. A little 2.5 straight inch blade. This looks nice. I like a little pop of color too, guys. I'm into all that now. You know, it's going to be 2021. Let's go. Enough with the all black stuff. Right? Medium Luzon, $29. You can't beat that. I mean, I don't think it's that great, but for that kind of money. And then look at these little weird double agent. I don't know. I haven't. Let me know if you guys own these. They're kind of neat. This looks kind of usable in a way. I know I'm kind of fading on you guys here, but look, I own this. This is actually great. This thing's a beast. Let me tell you, you put me in a hostile crowd with one of these things, and everybody's coming at me. They're gonna have their hands full. This thing sucks. I would hate to get hit with this thing. You know, I showed the kid. I whacked a tree with it, and he's like, "Whoa!" It's like, "Yeah, this thing's brutal, man. You can't break it. This part will fly off. I've done that before, but it popped right back on." Two-handed tie machete. I just don't understand why. No, I don't need a Cold Steel polo shirt. I don't have the white sneakers and little shorts to match. Sorry, Lynn Thompson. I hope he sees this. That means I made it, right? Blowgun, no thanks. I mean, how many people are misusing those today? Handgun hunting down under with Lynn Thompson. I don't know. You gonna buy these DVDs? Nobody has YouTube anymore. That's what I'm saying. He's got like a 1980s mentality. Or either that or just his stuff has just been in stock forever and he just keeps putting it up. But these Tough Lights are neat. Training sword, that's actually pretty good. That is actually good. It builds the forearms. It's a good exercise, guys. If you get one of these or you have bad kids, there you go. It says Brooklyn Slammer on it. I mean, you're going to get in trouble. It looks like it's for hitting people. Training buckler? I don't know. I mean, we're getting real cheap now. I mean, this is getting real cynical. These sheaths suck. I would never... Okay, neck knives. Guys, be careful with neck knives. This brings up an interesting point. This video is going to be a freaking hour, man. That's the difference with Cold Steel. There's just so much to talk about, right? Like, even you can talk about these spikes. But, like, neck knives, be very, very careful. These sheaths suck. Okay? And... you could have something under a shirt and it could come out a little bit. I don't want anybody to get hurt with this stuff. I mean, neck knives scare the crap out of me. I need some real retention if I'm going to rock a neck knife. I've had mistakes myself. Kukri Machete. For the price. Okay, these kind of interested me because they're so light. They come with abysmal sheaths. Their sheaths suck. But I'm a sheath maker. So this super, super duper light. This would be really good for a bug out pack, I think. You just have to include a sharpener. I don't know what kind of steel, but I know you're going to have to sharpen it. I'm not going to click on it. I actually had this. I had the Gladius machete. Don't ask me why. I think I was just curious about a Gladius on a whole. And this is one of the things Cold Steel's really great for. I just wanted to feel what a Gladius was like to hold. That's it. I didn't care if it was cool. I didn't care if it worked well. This is like a canvas sheath. This is real crappy. The finish was real crappy. But let me tell you, this thing's got a needle point. This thing is devastating. I gave this to a roommate and made him promise to never use it. Way back in the day. He still has it, he said. He likes it. I don't have a problem with it for what it is. I mean, this thing is brutal. And it did turn me on to the Gladius design. I'm Italian. So I was just like kind of wondering about what my people used. Watched 300. At that time. So yeah, for 20, I do recommend it, but please be careful. This thing is brutal. Don't misuse it. A lot of people own this. They love the cheapo price. I wouldn't have a use for it. I have great fixed blades. I don't mind spending a couple $100 on a good fixed blade, so I would never go into this budget category for... This isn't even budget. This is just like a steal. The little guy. I think my 7-year-old could use this little guy. He's got the bigger one. Okay, then we get into the training stuff, and I think we're about done. I have a couple of these edges laying around. I made a handle for one of these for one of my brothers at one point. I don't know why it's so ugly. It's a throwing knife. And that's about it, guys. I don't think there's anything left here. What is there? Lynn Thompson, white sneakers. What's left? I can't believe we did an hour of this crap. Oh, but it's Cold Steel. That's why. There's so much to yak about with Cold Steel. So I made the first long form video 1 hour on 5-minute knives. How do you like that? And that's testament to just how much conversation Cold Steel kicks up. I mean, if they weren't sold, I would consider buying like one of these t-shirts just to rep them, just because, like, I don't know. I look pretty beastly in a t-shirt, and Cold Steel's kind of cool. The only thing is I'm partly embarrassed by my love of Cold Steel too. It's a love-hate thing with me. It's so cheesy. It's so mall ninja. It's so corny. Like these I'd probably wear, maybe. If they sent me one for free, I'd wear one out and about, for sure. And I have a primary hustle that I am an influencer in my primary life. I think a lot of people will be shocked to know I have a gear review channel. A lot of my friends are shocked. So yeah, that's about it, guys. That's Cold Steel in a nutshell. I love them. You know, it is love-hate, but at the same time, we've all been there. We've all bought something from Cold Steel. Them being sold is definitely a end of a long chapter. Good or bad, we'll see. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Whoever made it to an hour, you're a soldier. You're a soldier. I wouldn't sit here for an hour. I know that. But anyway, if you need a sheath made, of course, hit me up, dragonscalejoe@gmail.com. I will take care of you. Yes, that's my name, Joe. And just keep subbing, guys. Keep subbing. Become an all-star of the week. This all-star was Wispy Woods. Great guy. That's the kind of viewer I'm looking for. But if you're going to be a troll, I'll read your shit there too. But it's the good comments. Those people I actually genuinely appreciate. You people teach me stuff. You're cool. You make me feel like I'm part of this community. You know, in my primary hustle, there are not a lot of gear people. You know what I mean? I kind of stick out as a bit of a tactard. And with you guys, I fit right in. So I love it. I love doing the channel. I even will sit here for an hour and yak about Cold Steel. I like you people so much. Okay? So keep subscribing. That's my favorite thing is when you subscribe, hit like, and I do prefer the positive comments, but I'll take anything. Anyway. Rant over. Thank you for hanging out. We will see you guys next time on
5 Minute Knives.